I want to share with you something that can change your perspective forever. We are going to reveal 7 clear signs that God has chosen you for something extraordinary, something that goes beyond what your eyes can see or your hands can touch. But before diving into these signs, I want you to think about this. Have you ever felt different? Like there's something inside you that doesn't quite fit with the world around you? Let me tell you something important. That feeling is not a coincidence. It's a powerful sign that God has a special plan for you. Since childhood, maybe you felt that there was something beyond what others could see, a voice inside telling you, you are not like the others. Maybe you grew up feeling misunderstood, like no one truly knew who you were deep down. That feeling of being different is not a flaw. It is a gift. It is the first sign that God has chosen you to fulfill a unique purpose in this world. Think about the people who have changed history, those who have left an indelible mark on humanity. What did they have in common? All of them felt at some point in their lives that they were different, that their mission was not simply to live, but to transform. Perhaps you have felt that too. Maybe you've noticed that you see the world from a different perspective, that you feel things more deeply, or that you have a special connection with something greater than yourself. That's not an accident. It's God calling you, preparing you for something only you can do. When we talk about being different, we're not talking about something superficial. It's not about being smarter, more talented, or more successful than others. It's about a spiritual difference, an inner calling that resonates in the depths of your being. It's that feeling that you are destined for something greater, even if you don't yet know what it is. Maybe you've felt that the world's rules don't apply to you, or that your heart beats to the rhythm of a different drum. That is the clearest sign that God has chosen you. Now, I want you to understand something important. Being different is not always easy. Many times this feeling can make you feel isolated, as if you don't belong anywhere. But let me tell you something. That feeling of loneliness is not a punishment. It's preparation. God is shaping your spirit so you can fulfill the purpose He has for you. So if you've ever felt out of place, I want you to see it as a blessing. It is a sign that you are being called to something extraordinary. Before we continue, I want to ask you something important. If this topic inspires you and you believe more people should hear it, subscribe, like, and share your experience in the comments. Your support changes lives. This message is not just for you. It's for all those who need to hear that their difference is not a flaw, but a divine gift. So, if you've ever felt out of place, I want you to see it as a sign of hope. God has chosen you for something special, and soon we will begin to uncover the other 6 signs that will confirm His plan for you is real. For now, I want you to reflect on this. When was the last time you felt different? How did you react to that feeling? In the next topic, we will delve into another powerful sign, those moments of divine synchronicity that show the universe is conspiring in your favor. But for now, I want you to keep this in your heart. Your difference is not a mistake. It is a sign that God has a special purpose for you. Trust in that calling, because very soon you will begin to understand why you were chosen. Have you ever experienced a moment when everything seemed to align perfectly, as if the universe conspired in your favor? Maybe you were desperately seeking an answer, and at that exact moment, someone appeared with the precise words you needed to hear. Or maybe You were facing a dilemma, not knowing which path to take, and suddenly something happened so timely that it took your breath away. Have you ever wondered why these things happen? Today, I want to tell you something important. That's not a coincidence. It's God guiding you toward your purpose. These moments of divine synchronicity are the second sign that you have been chosen for something extraordinary. They are those unexplainable events that seem too perfect to be mere chance. It's as if the universe itself moves silently to open doors, show you paths, or give you precise signs at the most unexpected moments. These synchronicities are not accidents. They are direct messages from God, designed to remind you that He is with you, guiding every step you take. Think of a moment in your life when you experienced something like this. Maybe you were looking for a job, and just when you were about to give up, you received an unexpected call offering you the perfect opportunity. Or maybe you were going through an emotionally difficult time, and suddenly you met someone who gave you exactly the advice you needed to heal. These events are not mere coincidences. They are proof that God has a plan for you and is actively working to lead you to it. Divine synchronicity is one of the most beautiful ways God communicates with us. Sometimes we don't see it because we're too busy with our daily routine, worried about material world problems. But when we stop and pay attention, we begin to notice amazing patterns. It's as if the universe whispers to you, "You are on the right path. Keep going." For example, imagine this. You're thinking about someone you haven't seen in years, and suddenly that person calls or messages you. Or you're reading a book or watching a video, and at that exact moment, you hear a phrase that seems specifically directed at you, as if it were an answer to a question you had been silently asking. These moments are not random. They are small miracles that God uses to guide you to where you're meant to be. Now, I want you to think about this. What does it mean that these events happen exactly when you need them most? It means you are not alone. It means there is a higher power watching over you, making sure you don't get lost along the way. Each synchronicity is a sign that you are being guided toward something greater, something aligned with the divine purpose God has for you. When you begin to recognize these moments for what they really are, messages from God, your perspective completely changes. You stop seeing them as mere coincidences and begin to understand them as part of a greater plan. You begin to trust more in the flow of life, knowing that every step you take is being guided by a loving hand. And here's the most important part. When you recognize these synchronicities, you also learn to act accordingly. Don't ignore those moments. If something happens in a way that feels too perfect, take it as a sign that you are on the right path. Trust in it. Thank God for those signs and move forward with faith, because each of them is bringing you closer to your purpose. Remember, every perfectly timed event is proof that God is with you, guiding you toward your purpose. Trust in those moments because they are the echo of His love and His plan for you. Life isn't always easy. We all face difficult moments, trials that seem insurmountable, and burdens that feel too heavy to bear. But today, I want to share something deep and transformative with you. Those challenges are not punishments or mistakes on your path. They are divine tools that God uses to prepare you. Yes, you heard that right. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to strengthen your spirit and fulfill the special mission He has for you. God never gives a burden you cannot bear. This is a spiritual truth that has been shared throughout the centuries and is written in the hearts of those who have managed to transcend their trials. Think about the hardest moments of your life: an unexpected loss, an illness, a breakup, or even a financial crisis. In that moment, you probably asked yourself, "Why is this happening to me?" Or, "What did I do to deserve this?" But now I want you to see those moments from a different perspective. What did you learn from them? How did they make you stronger? The toughest trials are like fire that purifies gold. God allows you to face these challenges because He knows you have the strength to overcome them, and because He wants to shape you so that you're ready for the purpose He has for you. Imagine a craftsman working on a masterpiece. He doesn't just take the material as it is, he carves it, molds it, polishes it. He works on you through trials, removing what is unnecessary and strengthening what is essential so that you can shine in the world. Let me give you some practical examples. Think of someone who lost their job and thought their life had collapsed. However, months later, they found a new opportunity they would have never considered if it weren't for that initial loss. Or think of someone who went through a serious illness, and although it was a painful experience, they came out of it with a new perspective on life, helping others going through the same thing. These people didn't choose their trials, but God used them to elevate them to a higher level of purpose and meaning. Now, I want you to think about your own challenges. What was the hardest moment in your life? What did you learn from it? Maybe it was a relationship that ended but taught you to love more consciously. Or maybe it was a difficult financial situation that forced you to develop creativity and resilience. Whatever the case, I want you to understand that those trials weren't in vain. They were part of the divine plan to prepare you for something greater. It's important to remember that God doesn't send trials to hurt you, but to forge you. It's like spiritual training. Every time you overcome a challenge, you become stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. And when you look back, you'll see how each trial led you exactly where you needed to be. Before continuing, I want to ask you something important. Help us spread this message to more people. Subscribe, like, and tell us what challenges you've overcome that you now understand as part of your purpose. Your testimony could be the light someone else needs to find strength in the middle of their own trials. In the next topic, we will explore another powerful sign, the inner voice that guides your decisions. We'll see how that intuition is actually a direct connection with God, guiding you towards the right path. But for now, I want you to reflect on this. What has been the greatest challenge you've faced? How do you think it prepared you for the purpose God has for you? Remember, every obstacle you overcome is proof that you're being forged for something extraordinary. Trust the process, because God is with you every step of the way. Have you ever felt a soft but clear voice inside you, guiding you toward a decision? Maybe you were in a moment of uncertainty, debating between two paths, and suddenly you felt a deep peace when choosing one of them. That feeling is not a coincidence. It's not just your mind trying to solve a dilemma. It's something much more powerful. It's God speaking to you through your intuition, showing you the right path. Today, I want to talk about this fourth sign, the inner voice that guides your decisions, a direct connection with the divine. We've all experienced that voice at some point in our lives. Sometimes It manifests as an unexplainable certainty, a sense of calm that tells you this is right. Other times, it might feel like a subtle warning that stops you just before taking the wrong path. This inner voice isn't simply a reflection of your conscious thoughts. It's a spiritual guide that God has placed within you to help you navigate life. Think of those moments when you've made an important decision guided by that voice. Maybe you were considering accepting a new job, moving to another city, or even starting a relationship, and something inside you told you it was the right thing to do. When you listened to that voice and acted accordingly, you probably noticed how everything began to flow almost magically. On the other hand, you may also have experienced moments when you ignored that inner voice, only to find out later that you should have listened. These experiences are clear evidence that this voice isn't yours alone. It's a direct connection with God. Intuition is a powerful tool that God has given us to guide us in our divine mission. It's like a lighthouse in the dark, illuminating the path we must follow. But here's the interesting part. This voice doesn't always shout. Often it whispers so softly that you can miss it if you're not paying attention. That's why it's crucial to learn how to listen to it. How can you do that? The key is in stillness. In a world full of noise, distractions, and outside opinions, finding moments of silence is essential to connect with that inner voice. Meditate, pray, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, what do I feel in my heart? The answer that arises from the depths of your being is the divine guidance God has placed within you. Let me share a practical example. Imagine you're considering a job opportunity that looks perfect on paper. Good salary, prestige, benefits. But when you think about it, you feel an internal discomfort, as if something doesn't fit. Then another option comes up, less conventional, perhaps less lucrative, but it resonates with you on an emotional and spiritual level. If you choose to follow the second option, guided by that inner voice, you'll probably discover that it leads you to a much greater purpose, one that's aligned with your divine mission. This doesn't mean it will always be easy or comfortable, but it will be meaningful. Now, I want you to understand something important. Listening to that voice doesn't mean you'll always make perfect decisions or avoid challenges. What it means is that you'll be aligned with the divine plan, and that will give you peace even in the midst of difficulties. God doesn't promise a path free of obstacles, but He does promise to guide you to where you need to be. Have you ever met someone who appeared in your life unexpectedly, just when you needed them most? Maybe it was a friend, a stranger, or even a brief encounter with someone who told you exactly what you needed to hear at that moment. Perhaps at the time you thought, "What a coincidence," or "What luck." But today I want to tell you something profound. Those encounters are not simple coincidences. Those people don't arrive by accident. They are sent by God to help you on your path. This is the fifth clear sign that you've been chosen for a special purpose: encounters with key people. These are people who appear at specific moments in your life, bringing messages, teachings, or even warnings that have the power to change your perspective. Sometimes these people are with you only for a short time. Other times they stay forever. But what they all have in common is that they play a divine role in your story. Think of a moment when someone said something that deeply resonated within you. Maybe it was a simple phrase like, "Don't give up," believe in yourself, or you're meant for something great. At that moment, maybe you didn't understand why that person said that to you, but later you realized that their words were exactly what you needed to keep going. Those encounters are not accidental. They are part of the divine plan that God has designed for you. Sometimes these people appear at the most unexpected moments. It could be a stranger in line at the supermarket, a coworker you had never spoken to, or even a family member you hadn't seen in years. What they have in common is that their presence in your life has a specific purpose, the catalyst you needed to make an important decision or to regain confidence in yourself. God uses these people as messengers, tools to guide you to where you need to be. It doesn't matter if their role in your life is brief or long-lasting. What matters is the impact they have on your journey. Some of these people may be angels in disguise, sent specifically to deliver a divine message. Others may simply be instruments in God's hands without even knowing it. But in both cases, their appearance in your life is no coincidence. Let me share a practical example. Imagine you're going through a difficult emotional moment, feeling lost and directionless. One day, while walking down the street, a stranger stops you and says something as simple as, "I see something special in you today." That phrase, though brief, might be enough to remind you that you are valuable and have a unique purpose in this world. Later, when you look back, you realize that this encounter happened precisely when you most needed a reminder of hope. Now, I want you to think about this. Who has been that person in your life? Who appeared at a crucial moment and said something that changed your perspective? Maybe it was a teacher who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself, or a friend who offered a word of encouragement when you needed it most. Whoever it was, I want you to recognize that this person didn't arrive by chance. They were sent by God to help you on your journey. Before we continue, I want to ask you something important. Help us spread this message to more people. Subscribe, like, and share your own experiences in the comments. Tell us about those key encounters that have marked your life and how you believe they were part of a divine plan. Your testimony can inspire others to recognize the signs that God is sending through the people who cross their path. Every person who enters your life has a purpose. Trust that God is using these connections to guide you to where you need to be. Open your heart to these signs because they are clear evidence that you are being led toward your divine mission. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so full of meaning, that you woke up feeling like something inside you had changed? Maybe it was a warning that prevented you from making a wrong decision. Or perhaps it was a vision that showed you a clear path toward something important. Today, I want to talk about this sixth sign, prophetic dreams and visions, a powerful way in which God communicates with you through your subconscious. God speaks through symbols, metaphors, and images that resonate deep within your being. Throughout history, great spiritual leaders, prophets, and visionaries have received divine messages through their dreams. These are not merely products of your imagination. They are tools God uses to guide you toward your purpose. If you've had dreams that have warned, guided, or inspired you, I want you to understand something important. This is not a coincidence. It is a clear sign that you are being called for something special. Think about moments when you've dreamed something that later manifested in your real life. Maybe you dreamed of someone you hadn't seen in a long time, and the next day that person contacted you. Or maybe you had a dream in which you found yourself in a specific place, and shortly after, you ended up visiting it without having planned it. These dreams are not coincidences. They are divine messages that God uses to prepare you for what's to come. Sometimes these dreams come with warnings. For example, imagine you dream of a bridge collapsing just before you cross it. Upon waking, you decide to avoid that path and later discover there was an accident in that very place. That dream wasn't just a product of your mind. It was divine intervention to protect you. In other cases, dreams may be visions that show you a possible future or give you clear direction. Maybe you dream of a scene where you're helping others, healing hearts, or sharing an important message. That vision may be a premonition of the mission God has for you. God uses the subconscious because it is a space where our rational mind does not interfere. While we're awake, our worries, fears, and distractions can block divine signals. But when we sleep, our subconscious opens, allowing God to speak to us through images, emotions, and symbols. That's why it's important to pay attention to those dreams that feel different, the ones that wake you with a feeling of peace, urgency, or even discomfort. Let me share a practical example. Imagine you're in a moment of uncertainty, trying to choose between two important paths in your life. One night, you dream of a calm river flowing toward a bright horizon. Upon waking, you feel a deep certainty that you must follow the path represented by that river. Later, you discover that this decision led you exactly where you needed to be. That dream wasn't just a creation of your mind. It was divine guidance that God used to show you the right path. Now, I want you to think about your own dreams. Have you ever had a dream that impacted you deeply? Maybe it was a recurring dream that made you reflect on your life. Or maybe it was a vision so clear that you felt compelled to act upon it. Whatever the case, I want you to understand that these dreams have a purpose. They are direct messages from God designed to guide you toward your special mission in this world. We've reached the seventh and final sign, but perhaps the most powerful of all, the impact you have on others. If you've touched hearts, healed wounds, or inspired others without even trying, it's because you carry a divine spark within you. Your purpose is not just to live for yourself, it's to shine in order to illuminate the path of others. This is the clearest proof that God has chosen you for something extraordinary. Think about the time someone has said, "Thank you for being there when I needed it most," or "Your advice changed my life." Maybe you didn't plan it. Maybe you weren't even aware of what you were doing at that moment, but your presence, your words, or your actions left an indelible mark on that person. This is not a coincidence. It's a sign that God has given you a special gift, the gift of positively influencing the world. Sometimes this impact shows up in small but profound ways. It might be a smile that restored someone's hope, a hug that healed an emotional wound, or even a simple conversation that helped someone see things from a new perspective. Other times, it might be something greater, like leading a movement, writing a message that inspires thousands, or simply being an example of love and faith in action. Whatever the form, the result is the same. You are fulfilling the divine purpose of being light in the darkness. Let me share something important. You don't have to be famous or have great resources to make a meaningful impact. Sometimes the simplest actions leave the deepest marks. I remember a story of a woman who used to prepare extra food each week to give to the homeless in her community. She didn't think she was doing anything extraordinary. She was simply following her heart. But years later, she discovered that her gesture had inspired others to do the same, creating a chain of kindness that transformed lives. That is exactly what it means to be chosen by God, using what you have to touch the hearts of others. Now, I want you to think about this. When was the last time someone told you that you had a positive impact on their life? Maybe you don't remember, or maybe you didn't realize what you were doing at the time. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that God is using you as an instrument of love, peace, and transformation. This is the highest purpose you can aspire to be a light that guides others to their own divine path. Before we close, I want to summarize the 7 signs we've explored today. If you recognize these signs in your life, it's not by chance. They are clear proofs that God has chosen you for something extraordinary. The feeling of being different, of having a unique purpose. Moments of divine synchronicity, where the universe conspires in your favor. The challenges that shape and prepare you for something greater. The inner voice that guides your decisions, connecting you directly with the divine encounters with key people who bring important messages. Prophetic dreams and visions that show you the right path. The positive impact you have on others, lighting their lives with your divine spark. Remember, if you recognize these signs in your life, it's not a coincidence. God has chosen you for something extraordinary. Trust in His plan, because every step you take has a purpose. No matter how dark the path may seem at times, He is always with you, guiding you to where you need to be. Thank you for joining us on this spiritual journey. I hope this message has resonated in your heart and helped you see your life from a new perspective. Now, I want to ask you something important. Which of these signs resonates most with you? Share it in the comments and tell us how you've experienced these signs in your own life. Your testimony may be the light someone else needs to find their own purpose. Keep moving forward, knowing you are part of something much greater. You are chosen, called by God to fulfill a unique mission in this world. So lift your head, open your heart, and trust that every step you take is aligned with His divine plan. Thank you for being here. We'll see you on the next spiritual journey.